I've been really working with the idea of place for over 40 years in my work. And for me, place is not like a specific geographical location. It's actually a synthesis of many different elements: human experience, memory, language. I'm really interested in the relationship between language and the land, and scientific knowledge like geology and ecology, and vernacular knowledge. I'm really interested in other people's experiences of the land too. Because I'm an environmental artist, I almost always had to travel for my subject matter, and I would travel in quite rural places, and almost always I'd be meeting quite elderly people who had sometimes lived in those rural places their whole lives. And I came to understand that they had a completely different perception of that landscape than I did as a visitor who was just passing through. And oftentimes I was stopping and asking directions, and people would just take a scrap of paper and draw a map for me to find my way. And I was always fascinated by the things that people chose from their own environment as landmarks. I eventually integrated in a formal way these, what I call memory maps, into my work, which also included portraits of people, the person that drew the map for me, their actual map that they drew, some of the story they told me as they were drawing the map, and then I would go and photograph a landmark that had been significant in the memory map as they drew it. This work revealed these layers of meaning and layers of memory, because several times it happened that two different people drew a map of exactly the same place for me. And they were completely different, of course, because everybody has a completely different experience of every place. I've become really comfortable with leaving things to chance. I've often said I've got some of my absolute best material from talking to strangers. The element of chance has always provided me with something way better, way richer than anything I could have imagined or controlled. It's just been so rich what has emerged from just allowing things to take their natural course. I really love the boreal forest. I love the scale of the trees. They're not huge monumental trees like there are on the west coast of North America. There's beautiful moss and lichen and wildflowers. The scale of it, I just find it's very good for examining things close up. And also we have 4 distinct seasons, which means everything is constantly changing. And that's been a big theme in my work, how temporary everything is and transient. I kind of collaborate with the environment, I feel. And the environment is becoming more and more critical to our whole planet, to the continuation of us as a species and all the other species that we share the planet with. And the ecosystem we have here is the boreal forest. I've heard people say, oh yeah, those stunty old spruce and fir. Like, there seems to be not enough appreciation, I feel, for this beautiful ecosystem that we have here. And so I'm hoping, as an environmental artist, that doing these events will help other people to appreciate the ecosystem as well.